know you'll appreciate this, and I'll say what I've been told to say, a few words. Should I leave now? I was 15 years, Sam was 15 years my elder when the 36th Olympics took place. So, and I would have been, having been born in December 1930, I was 5 years old at the time. So a lot of what went on and how it went on, I'm just here to say that I think we should all look back at the time and so forth and recognize that we need to reflect upon these things today and throughout our lives, because who knows what the future lies for all of us. And I would say also that I appreciate your all being here, and I appreciate the honor bestowed upon my brother, as I know he would thank you all very much if he were here to do it. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stoller. Thanks, Coach Sneer, for that great story. There's, one of the things about track and field, there's a lot of great history here, and I hope some of you young coaches will encourage your athletes to look into the stories behind the greats of American track and field. That brings us to the end of the first part of our program, and next on our agenda, a real Hall of Famer, the Ribs King, is going to bring you dinner. Then we'll be back with the rest of the program. Our first inductee tonight is Kim Betz, which is really fun for me because Kim is from that other school in our district, Turpin High School, and it was, one of the great things about being a track coach is you're also a great track fan. I know all of you are, and it was just so much fun to watch Kim. And to introduce Kim is the present Turpin High School coach, Missy Seamers, who is one of the upcoming coaching stars in Cincinnati, and Missy will introduce Kim Betz.
It is such an honor for me to be able to introduce Kim today because she might not know it, but her name is spoken of in the halls of Turpin High School quite often. And I will say every year in the spring, I take my young ladies into the athletic hallway and we look up at the record board because they're going to be setting their goals for the season and their goals for their high school careers and beyond. And every year, my middle distance and distance girls look up and they look at the 1600 meter record and they look at the 800 meter record and Kim Betz next to it, and they look at the times and they go, whoa, that's really fast. And I say, yep, yes it is. So, and then I go on and tell them the story about Kim and how she ran those times at the 1986 AAA State Championship track and field meet, where she won the 1600 meter in a 4:53, and then with only 40 minutes rest, came back and went 2:12 in the 800. And then they go, whoa, and that is really fast. Like, yes, it is. Then the other times that the coaching staff at Turpin and the other coaches that have been there always speak about Kim is because she did that and she didn't run cross country in the fall. She was a soccer stud from what I understand. So that is our biggest recruiting tool for track and field. But she went on to Indiana University, and in only her second year of ever running cross country was the 1987 NCAA Division I individual champion. and she ran that 5K in 16:10. She earned all Big Ten honors. She was the individual regional champion, and she earned All-American honors. On the track, Kim still holds the University of Missouri Hearn Center Fieldhouse record in the 3,000 meter for indoors in 9:19.8, and she was the Altruza Club Indiana University Woman Athlete of the Year. Unfortunately, like many athletes who've had to deal with certain adversities, Kim had to deal with chronic compartment syndrome. And so although she qualified for the 1988 Olympic trials, she was not able to compete because of that obstacle. In 1981, Kim graduated with a law degree from Indiana University. From 1998 to 2002, she served as the assistant counsel and special assistant to CEO Craig Masbach of USA Track and Field. She has held several key government positions within the United States House of Representatives in our nation's capital, as well as the White House Office of National Drug Council Policy. Kim currently serves as Legislative Director for U.S. Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rogers, and she continues to stay active in our sport, sitting on the Board of Directors of the United States Track and Field Foundation. I'm going to sum things up with her personal best performances, which include the indoor mile of 4:38.07, which is the first in Indiana University history, her indoor 3,000 meter run in 9:12.33, which is the second best in Indiana University's history, and the outdoor 1,500 meter run in 4:23.09. So please join me in celebrating the accomplishments of Cincinnati Hall of Fame inductee, Kim Betz.
Okay. Wow. Well, it's kind of funny because everybody asked me in my family if I had any remarks, and I was like, no. Well, first of all, I would just like to say thank you to the local Cincinnati running community. I think other than my father, you're the only ones that really remember my running career. So, you know, I very much appreciate it, and I know my family does too. So, you know, thanks to you all. It's nice to remember 20 years later, 25 years later. So it's great. Second, thanks to my family, my dad, my mom, my brother. Just, they were such great supporters throughout my career, particularly when I was in college and hurt probably a majority of the time, but they were there and celebrated successes and down times as well. So, and then third, just want to thank my fiance and my daughter Leela, who just remind me what's important every day. So thank you all, and it's a really great honor, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kim. And I think that's another record. I don't know that I've ever heard a lawyer speak so briefly. So mark that one up on the record board. That's an unofficial record. Thank you. Our next inductee is Calvin Bostic. He could bring a lot of electricity to a track meet. Those of you who saw Calvin Bostic will know that. So this is a very exciting evening. He will be introduced by LaShawn Bostic, and his award will be presented by Danita Jackson. So LaShawn Bostic will introduce. Is that correct?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, I am pleased to introduce to you the inductee, my husband, Mr. Calvin Bostic. Calvin is a graduate of Forest Park High School and the University of Toledo, which is where we met. This remarkable track athlete started on the fastest of paths. He was a track junkie in high school, reading books on techniques and strategies, studying his competitors and their times. In Calvin's sophomore year, in 1988, Forest Park High School became only the third Cincinnati school in 83 years to win a state track title. His junior year, they repeated. He scored 38 points, enough to beat the runner-up team by himself. Now, even reading that, I had to say, wow, that's pretty awesome. He won 3 events that day, missing a 4th only as he was nosed out in the 110 hurdles. Excuse me. At the time, Calvin would have been the first Ohio male in more than 60 years to win the maximum of 4 events in one state meet. The last male athlete to do that was Jesse Owens. That's pretty good too. He was Jesse Owens, who was named history's top track athlete by ESPN. So that became a goal for Calvin in his senior season. But he pulled a hamstring running a 400-meter relay at a class picnic the day before regional championships. Had I known him then, that wouldn't happen. Calvin was able to make state in just 1 event. Finishing 4th in the 110 hurdles, he decided to attend the University of Toledo and help make UT one of the top teams in the MAC conference. There he earned MAC Athlete of the Year, honors in '94 and 1995. Calvin qualified for the NCAA championships in 1994 and 1995. During his career at UT, he broke 10 school records, won 8 MAC titles, earned all-conference in 14 events, and all-conference 4 consecutive years. In pursuit of his lifelong dream to compete for a U.S. team, in 1998, Calvin joined the Air Force. We joined the Air Force. As the first male 400 intermediate hurdler on a newly developed world-class athletic program. He moved to Colorado to train in the higher altitude. It was there that he accomplished qualifying for the 2000 Olympic trials in the 400 intermediate hurdles, where he ran 49.99. Calvin's his accomplishments continue still. So off what I've written, just some things about what he continues to do today. I wouldn't really call him a track junkie. I will call him a student of the sport. He continues to give back to the sport daily. We currently live in Germany. It is there where, under his influence and his advocacy, that they actually started a youth program for track. They hadn't had one. So now it's been running 3 consecutive years. He coached that until our children, 2 of my twin daughters, they went on to high school. So then he became the coach for the high school team, Kaiserslautern American High School. While now in Germany, everyone wants him to coach in different capacities, so we just have to kind of, go where the need is. But due to his love for the sport, he continuously gives. He shares his knowledge, he shares all that he's learned. He serves in the Air Force currently, but he also serves as an ambassador